And I am delighted to be with you and to thank you for giving a voice to our thoughts. You've always given a loud voice to the thoughts we have in our hearts, in our minds. You've been there for us. You went to a battle with us, and with your help, we emerged victorious. So we went, we saw, and we conquered. And now it's time to say thank you to you all. And thank you to Ndi Anambra. Thank you for all those that joined us in the battle. We have won the battle. I'm not going to say that we have won the war. You know, there's a big difference between winning the battle and winning the war. War consists of several battles. You may win one battle and lose another battle. But ultimately, when you win the war, then you've conquered. We have won this battle, or we're going to win the war. To win a battle is to emerge victorious in a particular election. To win the war is to win the hearts of Ndi Anambra men and women. And the war will be won when our candidate is sworn in and everybody is on board. Even the oppositions will see what the blind can see, what the blind have been seeing, which they probably didn't see before. As Governor Willie Obiano would say, APGA and we're giving glory to God while appreciating everyone who made it possible. And we are calling on those in opposition, the candidates that may have gallantly fought and lost, to come on board with the winning team and be part of the winning team, because it is entire Anambra that won this election. So today, we in the disability community react to the victory we have all achieved. As you are aware, the disability community paid its dues in this campaign. For the first time, the APGA administration in Anambra State created a directorate or campaign for the mobilization of persons with disabilities. It's a recognition that the disability constituency had the number to tip the election one way or the other. If, according to the statistics of INEC, we have over 600 persons with disabilities registered to vote, and if there are 600 persons with disabilities, who over 600,000 voters with disabilities, if they all threw out to vote, you know that wherever they vote, that is where we're going to have victory. When you look at the entire votes cast, it's a little over 200,000. That's a fraction of that 600,000 voters with disabilities. Well, we have the number to win the election. And APGA saw that need and created a directorate, a campaign mobilization of persons with disabilities. And thank God, we delivered. We set up the subcommittee. We set up the structure, the foot soldiers in the 21 local government area that went to work. We had members of the subcommittee who mobilized food soldiers in respective local government areas for different aspects of the campaign. Voter access, polling booths, polling unit access, and the mobilization of the visually impaired, mobilization of the physically challenged, mobilization of the deaf, and mobilization of persons living with albinism. We had persons coordinating each area, and God really helped us. We paid our dues because of why we were at Obaru, planning to go to Ihiala. All of you heard what happened. Persons with disabilities who were already on the ground at Ihiala crawled on their belly to safety to get away from flying bullets. And nobody was in a better position to recognize it, and he did with Professor Sisi Soludo. Recognize the sacrifice that persons with disabilities made. And each time he spoke, he appreciated them. Persons with disabilities mobilized people in 21 local government areas. Everywhere you went for the campaign rally, you saw persons with disabilities given a canopy at the front stage. And Professor Sisi Soludo and his deputy, Dr. Onyeka Ibezi, never stopped to, they never stopped acknowledging them. They acknowledged them everywhere they went. They appreciated them. And Professor Sisi Soludo did not pretend about it. He acknowledged them at every rally and made sure they were taken care of. He instructed the local government chairman to be sure that persons with disabilities were looked after at every rally. And we appreciated that recognition. In his acceptance speech, you will also see that he acknowledged the contributions of persons with disabilities. So that has been so wonderful, and the Ndi Anambra really heard our cry and our appeal to support the election of Professor Sisi Soludo, and they delivered. And so today, I want to ask you the question. Professor Sisi Soludo, who we want or who we got? There's a big difference between who you want and who you got. You may want something and you get something else. It will be a case of you deal with what you got since you didn't get what you want. But this is different here. We got who we want. What we want is what we got. And in my last address, I told you that Professor Sisi Soludo, for those of you who are familiar with baseball, Professor Sisi Soludo was on deck, ready to take the development bat to bat for Anambra State. That was before the election. Now, after the election, he has moved from deck to the batting box. He's now in the batting box, ready to take the investment bat. And come March 17th, he will take over that bat and start swinging that bat. The bat of development and investment for Ndi Anambra. As you can see, his predecessor, who is still our current dynamic governor, gave us the development wheels with several enablers. These development wheels are going to spin fast, rapidly. And as they spin, Professor Sisi Soludo will swing the bat if you are familiar with baseball. When he swings that bat, he will get a hit. And when you get a hit, it goes so high, it becomes a home run. And if the base is loaded, like I told you in our last discussion, when the base is loaded for Anambra State, but look who is up. And the person that is up is Professor C. Soludo. That's who we decide to call him. C. Soludo, a man with the connection, a man that has the capability, a man that is competent, and a man that has the creativity to give Anambra that dream industrialized and viral society, a state that you can compare with Dubai. And I thank God for the man that is his deputy. The man that is his deputy is the young man we know. He's a humble man. He's a loyal person. He's a committed person. He's a friend you can depend on, you can count on. Even in the moments of crisis. Dr. Onyeka Ibezim is a man you can depend on. He's a loyal person. It's not like the betrayal we experience these days with all the defections and political green grass searchers. We have a man that is ready to stick with you during thick and thin. We are going to be proud of the person we have in Onyeka Ibezim. I call him a strong bottle, a strong old bottle ready for the new wine. You know what happens when you put new wine in a bottle that is not strong? It will blow. But in this case, this guy is a strong old bottle. He has experience. He's been there for the past 8 years, working and helping the current administration achieve the much he has. And so he's going to be a person that not only will make youth proud, but also will make Ndi Anambra proud. And let me tell you, this is another area you see the credentials of Willie Obiano. I call him a P4 leader. He's a man that is patriotic. He's a man that is prophetic in his action. Go and check the things he did. For time constraint, I will not go to tell you, but I have written about it in my previous articles, how Willie Obiano is prophetic in what he does. He's patriotic, he's prophetic, he's precautionary, and he's a man that gives a preemptive strike. A preemptive strike, the doctrine of preemptive strike was propounded by President George Bush of the United States, who believes in not just sitting and waiting for your enemies to attack you, but you take the fight to the enemy's ground and you win the victory. That is why you don't talk about, when you talk about terrorism, you talk about counter-terrorism. You don't sit on the defense, but you take the battle to them. Willie Obiano does that in all the things you see him do and practice. He gives a preemptive strike. He just checks where you are going to have problem and addresses it head on before it happens. That is why he understands the concept that a predecessor has not succeeded until his successor succeeds. The success of succession is an eloquent testimony of wisdom, foundation, and legacy of a predecessor. Just look at that. If you lay a very good foundation and you determine to bequeath an enduring legacy, you must support, or you must be sure that whoever is taking over from you is one that is going to continue the good projects that you started, the things you have. You do not want people who will just hijack power and ignore the developmental stride that you have set up, and all of a sudden you are telling stories. So he has seen that. And that is why he has given his total support for people who wonder why he supports Professor C.C. Soludo. He supports Professor C.C. Soludo because he has seen him as a person that will continue this legacy. He has his total support for C.C. Soludo and Dr. Onyeka Ibezim. So all we can say here, if you still want to know more about Professor C.C. Soludo, go to his manifesto. Look at the People's Manifesto. You will see that he means business. Look at all his connections. Look at all the things, his vision. And look at his plan for a great economy. And look at his statement. And so all we can say today from the disability community is congratulations to the governor-elect, to the deputy governor-elect, and we will say again, Ndi Anambra, we thank you for listening to our cry and our call to elect Professor C.C. Soludo. And we can also say bravo to APGA as a party for presenting the right candidate. Politics has come to its maturity in Anambra State. It's exactly what I see in Massachusetts, United States of America, where even if you are a party in minority, you present a candidate and that candidate will win the election, irrespective of the fact that your party may be in minority. When you present a great and formidable candidate, that candidate wins election. That is why even in Massachusetts, the Democrats are in majority and the Republicans are probably 1/3 of the populace. But guess what? The Republicans, maybe in the governor's office for the past 16 years, it wasn't because they are in the majority, but it was because when you present a better candidate, the better candidate wins election. The point I'm making is that in Anambra State, things are different. You don't take Anambra electorates by surprise. You don't take them for granted. Present a good and wonderful candidate, and that candidate will win an election. Look at Professor C.C. Soludo. Compare him to all other 17 candidates. There were 18 candidates. Look at the other 17. Which one will you match up with Professor C.C. Soludo? APGA presented a candidate that will win election, that is electable. I learned that word, electability, from where we are in the U.S. When you present somebody, they say, oh, well, this person, you may like him, but he's not electable. Professor C.C. Soludo was electable. Professor C.C. Soludo is a person that you can be proud at any place, in any at any time, that this is a candidate that you will present and he will win the election. And kudos to APGA administration for understanding that fronting a better candidate takes precedent to fronting a money bag or a person you think has the other wherewithal in terms of finances and all that. I pray and believe that someday in Nigeria and in Anambra State, we will also do one thing that we have learned from the country where we copied democracy. That is campaign funding. In that place, if you don't have money and you're a good candidate, you can come out. The public, the society will fund your election. And there is a way they treat their campaign fund. You dare not touch it for your personal gains or anything. No. People will contribute one naira, two naira, or one dollar to whatever it's called. As they contribute, there is a system of managing that fund. And you must spend it for only campaign purposes, nothing else. You cannot use it for your private financial needs. And anyone that is left over after election, you either donate to charity or you hand it over to your party. So you see, the public, if they like you, will fund your campaign. You have a choice whether to use your money, or if you don't have money, the public will fund you. Unlike what we see here now. If you come out for election to purchase your expression of interest alone, it's big money. It's big money. But that won't be a talk for another day. Again, that's where I commend APGA administration for understanding that women, people in minority, and persons with disability can get a 50% discount from the expression of interest form, money, whatever. So the national chairman did announce it. I did make that known to everyone, and persons with disability who intend to run for election to get ready. But even at a 50% discount, you're still required to come up with a lot. And we're hoping that one day we all will be engines of change that will reform the campaign funding in our country. And maybe Anambra State, the light of the nation, will lead the way. And where Anambra goes, the nation may follow. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming. Again, the purpose of our meeting today is to tell you that who we got is who we want. And that we are happy that we got what we want. And we are looking forward to a great future in Anambra State. And the disability community will celebrate because Professor C.C. Soludo will continue what Governor Willie Obiano has started doing for persons with disability in Anambra State. We are excited. We are delighted. We are hopeful. And we thank God for what is coming. God bless you. I am ready for your questions. The law in September of 2018 by the 6th Assembly and was signed into law. In other words, Governor Willie Obiano accepted to it on the 18th of December 2018. It was a Christmas present to the disability community. Governor Willie has always been in the habit of giving a special Christmas present to the disability community. Last year, it was jobs, where he employed over 230 persons with disability into the civil service workforce. So in 2018, he did give a present, Christmas present, by signing that disability rights bill into law. So it is now a law to take care of persons with disability. With that, he moved the issues of persons with disability from charity to that of right. So it's no more, just in line with the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disability, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, the CRPD. So you can see that in Anambra, we're moving forward. Governor Willie Obiano has further set up a committee that is charged with responsibility to implement the provisions of this law as a first step towards the formation of the Disability Rights Commission as provided for by Section 3 of the Disability Rights Law 2018. It is this body you refer to, the Disability Rights Commission, that has the power to implement the provisions of this law. Until then, which I know, hopefully, will come before the end of our tenure, the Office of the Governor on Disability Matters have been enforcing the implementation of these provisions one by one. And we are looking forward to having a commission that has the legal mandate, the legal power, the legal responsibility to do that. So until then, Office of the Governor on Disability Matters going to be working with Disability Rights Law Implementation Committee to bring this to life. So I thank you for your question. Not worried because I know who I'm working with. I know Governor Willie Obiano, like I mentioned earlier. He's a prophetic, he's a preemptive, he's a patriotic, and he's a precautionary leader. I am not surprised that sometimes he takes time to calculate, to think through what he wants to do. He's been consulting widely for the formation of Disability Rights Commission. That's why he set up Disability Rights Implementation Committee. I think if he doesn't have the intention of setting up a Disability Rights Commission, he wouldn't even set up a committee. So I am looking forward to having that commission because it will be like making a basket and then preparing the head. Ndị Igbo si na nkata akpara akpa a ga-eme gịnị a ga-atụ ya isi. Ọ bụ na anyị emere Disability Rights Commission, ọ ga-adị ka anyị kpara nkata mana atụrụ ya isi. And that will be a consolidation of all he has been doing for persons with disabilities in Anambra State. And also a confirmation of what he stated that people will come to Anambra State to copy how to take care of persons with disabilities. And all the visions and aspirations of His Excellency is codified in this law. So, implementing the provisions of this law will tie the knots, if you will complete what he has started. That is why I am hopeful. That is why I can tell you that the great Willie, the commander of the Pontifical Order of St. Gregory the Great, will not fail to do the needful. I will simply advise the guy heading to court that, well, the court is the hope of the common man. Everybody, as a citizen, has the right, if you feel that your rights have been infringed upon, to go to court. They say, ibi jus, ibi remedium. Every wrong has a redress. You know the word. You can, if there is a problem, you can. But the question we must ask is, on what basis? On what basis? You can see everybody was there. It was watched live. You saw the counting of the votes. You saw the collation. You saw the transmission, electronic transmission of the votes. You saw where somebody was even about to say it did not reflect, he signed a document that did not reflect that INEC went back and recounted and recollected and still get victory where it belongs. So on what basis is the person heading to court. We must avoid frivolity. And that is the spanking judges have received when they entertain frivolous suits. Well, tribunal is set up for anybody who feels aggrieved. And anybody who feels aggrieved can come to court. But we have no question that in the end, the right person will be vindicated. But all I can say to anybody heading to court on frivolity is, do not put a nail on the coffin of your political ambition in Anambra State. Because if you go to court with frivolity, you are scorning the people of Anambra State who expressed their wishes loud and clear. And everybody says it's the freest and fairest election in the history of the state. And everybody, both local and international, have commended the conduct of this election, with congratulatory messages coming all the way from United States, United Kingdom, all around the world. Who will not congratulate you if they think the election was rigged or faced malpractices and all the rest of them? So there is general acceptance of the conduct of the election and how everything went. If you are going to court, it's your right to go to court, but do not go to court on frivolity, because you will be putting a nail on the coffin of your political ambition in the state. And Anambra people will not forget that while they are celebrating the reflection of their collective wishes, that you went to court to say they did not know what they did. Depends again. We haven't seen the details. We haven't seen the basis on which the person wants to go to court. But again, I warn, you do not go to court unless you have good grounds. And if you don't, you'll be creating political prejudice in the mind of Ndi Anambra electorate, and they will not forget. Thank you.